The desert stretched far and wide, endless sand under the burning sun. Wind moved across the dunes, carrying with it the sound of silence broken only by the machines of a small digging crew. They had been sent to the desert to build a new research station, but what they found was something no one had expected. A worker named Ryan was the first to notice something unusual. His drill struck the ground, and instead of more stone, a loud metallic ring echoed across the worksite. At first, the crew thought it was just a buried rock, but when the sand cleared, they saw smooth metal shining under the sun. It was not rusted, not cracked, and not like any material they had ever seen before. The crew gathered around, curious and confused. The metal was black with faint silver lines that seemed to glow in the sunlight. When they tried to cut a piece for study, their strongest tools failed. Sparks flew, drills broke, and yet the strange wall remained untouched. Ryan touched it with his hand, and it felt warm, almost alive, though it had been buried for countless years. Soon, scientists and military officers were called to the site. Tents were raised, scanners brought in, and the desert became a busy camp. Among the arriving group was Mira, a young engineer with a sharp mind. She stared at the strange wall and felt a chill run through her. This was no ordinary find. As the team worked day and night, more of the structure was uncovered. It was not just a wall. It was the side of something enormous, hidden beneath the sand for ages. Day after day, the digging revealed giant limbs of metal, smooth surfaces, and markings that no one could read. The markings were shaped like symbols, yet they looked more like art than language. Mira and the scientists argued about the origin. Some claimed it was alien technology, left behind by visitors long before humans walked the earth. Others believed it was a natural formation, though such a claim became weaker with each new discovery. The sheer size of the machine was too great to be explained away. One evening, as the sun sank behind the dunes, the dig team uncovered the head of the structure. Everyone stood silent as grains of sand slid away to reveal a giant face made of shining black metal. The face had no eyes, only smooth surfaces, yet it carried a presence that made every person feel small. It was clear now. This was a machine, but no machine like the world had ever seen before. The military quickly took control of the site. General Aaron, a calm but strict leader, arrived with his officers. He looked at the machine with a thoughtful expression. "This is not just history," he said to Mira. "This is a weapon, and it belongs to us now." The word spread through the camp like fire. A weapon. The idea filled some with fear and others with excitement. Mira, however, only felt questions. Who built it? Why was it buried? And most important of all, how long had it been waiting here? That night, Mira sat in her tent studying the scans of the machine. Its inner design was unlike anything modern technology could explain. There were power cores that seemed endless, circuits that were not made of wires but flowing channels of light, and joints that suggested the machine could move with the grace of a living creature. Every scan showed more mysteries instead of answers. Rian visited her tent, carrying a piece of sand-covered metal he had found near the machine. Unlike the rest of the body, this piece had symbols carved deeper into it. Mira studied them carefully. They looked strange, but the more she stared, the more she noticed patterns. They were not alien after all. They were based on old human shapes, twisted and changed over time. It was human work, but from a time so ancient it had been forgotten. The thought shook her. Humanity had built this machine. That meant the ancestors of Earth were far more advanced than anyone had believed. They had created something beyond imagination, and then hidden it beneath the sands, never to be seen until now. As the camp fell quiet under the stars, Mira could not sleep. She kept thinking about the giant machine, buried in silence for ages. Why was it waiting here? Was it sleeping, or was it guarding something? She wondered if it would ever wake again, and if it did, would it see humans as its friends or strangers? General Aaron gave orders for more digging at sunrise. He wanted the entire body of the machine revealed. The desert was restless, winds shifting as if nature itself knew that something great was stirring beneath the ground. The discovery was no longer just an archaeological mystery. It was the beginning of a story that would change Earth forever. For deep in the desert, the ancient human war machine waited, its silent frame holding the power of forgotten ages. It was not dead. It was only sleeping, and soon the galaxy would remember what humans were capable of. The news of the buried war machine spread across the world faster than anyone could control. Governments demanded answers, scientists argued, and the public filled with both wonder and fear. Some called it the greatest discovery in human history, while others warned that it might be too dangerous to touch. General Aaron tightened security around the desert site. Armed guards patrolled day and night, and drones circled the area from above. But even with all the focus on the buried machine, no one was ready for what came next. Far beyond Earth, in the cold emptiness of space, a fleet of ships entered the solar system. They were not human ships. They belonged to the Vorn, a species known across many worlds for conquest. Their vessels were vast and dark, moving like shadows across the stars. They had been traveling for years, following old signals, and now their path had brought them to Earth. The first to notice them was a group of astronomers who tracked strange movements near the outer planets. At first they thought it was an asteroid cluster, but then the objects changed direction in perfect formation. The truth became clear. It was a fleet, and it was coming straight for Earth. Panic struck world leaders as the reports reached them. Satellites confirmed the presence of the alien armada, hundreds of massive ships, each one carrying weapons far more advanced than Earth's strongest missiles. Earth's defense systems had never been tested against something like this. In the desert camp, Mira received the news with disbelief. She stood beside the giant buried machine as General Aaron spoke to his officers. His voice was calm, but his eyes carried heavy weight. "The Vorn are coming," he said. "And if they reach Earth, our weapons will not stop them. This machine might be the only chance we have." Mira stared at the war machine, its metal body still half buried in sand. Could something so old truly stand against such power? She did not know, but the thought that humans had once built it gave her hope. If their ancestors had faced the Vorn before, maybe they had left behind this machine as their answer. Across the world, fear grew stronger each passing day. The Vorn fleet moved closer, their ships glowing with strange lights as they passed the orbit of Jupiter. Earth's militaries prepared, but their leaders knew they were outmatched. Even if every jet, missile, and cannon on Earth fired at once, it would not be enough. General Aaron ordered his team to speed up the work at the dig site. The buried machine had to be uncovered fully. Workers and soldiers labored day and night, pulling away the sand to reveal the war machine's body. Its arms stretched wide, its legs sunk deep into the ground. It was taller than the tallest buildings, and yet every part of it was perfectly shaped as if time had not touched it. One night, as Mira walked near the machine, she noticed something strange. The symbols carved into its chest glowed faintly like embers under the dark sky. She touched the surface with her hand and felt a pulse run through it. The machine seemed alive, though it had not moved. She quickly told Aaron, who ordered more scientists to study the strange reaction. The fleet of the Vorn finally reached Mars. From their ships, they sent messages into the void, signals filled with sharp tones and alien sounds. Scientists tried to translate them, but the meaning was clear enough. The Vorn were not here to talk. They were here to conquer. When their scouts reached Earth's orbit, the world trembled. Satellites captured images of their massive ships casting shadows across the planet. The first strikes began with sudden blasts of energy fired at the outer defense satellites. They were destroyed in seconds, leaving Earth's skies unprotected. General Aaron gathered his officers inside the command tent. "We cannot stop them with our weapons," he said. "The war machine is our only hope. We must find a way to awaken it." Mira listened as the officers argued. Some believed it was too dangerous. Others said it was their last chance. Mira spoke with quiet certainty. "This machine was built by humans long ago. It was buried for a reason. Maybe it was waiting for us, waiting for this very day." Her words carried weight, and for a moment the tent fell silent. Outside, the desert winds howled against the walls as if the world itself was restless. The Vorn did not wait. From orbit, they began to fire on Earth's surface. Cities shook as their beams struck military bases and power stations. Humanity fought back with jets and rockets, but the alien armor was too strong. Every hour, the losses grew worse. At the dig site, the war machine remained silent, its eyes closed, its body still. Yet Mira felt something deep inside her telling her it was not dead. It was listening. It was watching. It was waiting for the right moment. As dawn broke across the desert, the sand shimmered with light from the burning sky above. The alien fleet was here, and the first great battle had begun. The world looked to the desert, to the buried war machine, and to the hope that humans were not as weak as the galaxy believed. The machine's time was coming. The desert shook with the distant thunder of explosions. From orbit, the Vorn continued their attacks, striking Earth's defenses with cold precision. Cities far away burned and soldiers on the ground fought bravely, but nothing slowed the alien advance. In the desert camp, the giant war machine remained buried, silent and still. Yet the humans who gathered around it refused to give up. They believed this was their only hope. General Aaron stood before the machine, his hands behind his back, his expression firm. "We do not have time," he told the scientists. "If this machine was built by humans, then it was built for a reason. We must awaken it before the Vorn destroy everything." Mira, standing beside him, nodded. She had spent every moment studying the strange markings on the machine's surface. The more she looked at them, the more she felt they were not random at all. They were instructions, though written in a form so ancient that few could understand. With the help of Ryan, she connected scanners and power links to the machine's chest. At first, nothing happened. The surface remained cold and dark. The team tried to send signals into it, but each one failed. Every modern tool seemed useless. The crew grew frustrated. Some believed the machine was broken. Others said it had simply died long ago. But Mira refused to give up. She walked up to the chest of the machine, placed her hand on the glowing symbols, and closed her eyes. The desert winds grew stronger as if answering her. Slowly, the lines across the machine began to glow brighter. The ground trembled under everyone's feet. A deep sound like the heartbeat of the earth itself filled the air. The war machine was responding. The camp burst into shouts of alarm and hope. Soldiers raised their weapons, unsure if this awakening was safe, while scientists scrambled to record every detail. General Aaron simply watched, his face set with determination. With a deafening roar, the machine's head lifted from the sand. Dust and stone fell away as its massive body began to move. The ground split open as its legs pulled free from the desert floor. The war machine stood tall, towering over everything in sight, casting a shadow that stretched across the camp. Its eyes lit with a steady golden light. It looked down at the humans gathered before it, not with anger, but with recognition. The markings on its body burned brighter, filling the air with strange patterns of energy. Mira's heart raced. "It knows us," she whispered. "It remembers." The machine raised one arm and opened its palm. Panels shifted, and inside, the humans saw a chamber large enough to hold several people. It was inviting them to step inside. General Aaron wasted no time. "Prepare a control team," he ordered. "If this machine accepts us, then we must learn to guide it." Mira, Ryan, and a few soldiers entered the chamber. Inside, the walls glowed with soft light. Symbols appeared in the air like floating screens. Mira reached out to touch them, and they responded instantly, shifting into shapes that matched her thoughts. The machine was not controlled by buttons or levers. It was guided by human intent, linked directly to the mind and heart of its operators. For the first time, Mira felt connected to something far greater than herself. She could sense the machine's strength, its power, and its memory. Images rushed into her mind. Battles in distant stars, ancient humans fighting side by side against the Vorn, this very machine standing as a shield for Earth. She gasped and fell back, but Aaron steadied her. "What did you see?" he asked. "It fought them before," she whispered. "It has faced the Vorn. That is why it was buried here, to wait for this moment." Outside, the Vorn ships descended lower, their weapons glowing with deadly light. Earth's defenses were falling fast, but now for the first time, the humans had something that could stand against them. General Aaron gave a single order. "Take it into battle." The war machine's chest closed as the chamber sealed. Mira felt the connection grow stronger, the machine moving as if it were her own body. Its steps shook the desert as it marched forward. Each movement was smooth, filled with a power no human-made weapon had ever known. The Vorn detected the activation at once. Their ships turned and rained fire upon the desert. Blazing beams of energy struck the sand, throwing up clouds of smoke. But the machine raised its arm and a shield of light spread across its body. The beams scattered harmlessly, unable to pierce its armor. The humans inside felt the force of the blasts, yet the machine stood unshaken. Then it responded. Its other arm opened, and from its palm a burst of golden energy shot into the sky. The beam cut through the first alien cruiser like it was paper. The ship exploded in silence, debris falling toward the ground. The desert echoed with cheers from the soldiers watching below. Humanity had struck back, and for the first time the Vorn knew fear. Inside the machine, Mira felt its power surge. It was not just a weapon. It was alive in its own way, a guardian of humanity's forgotten past, and now it had awakened again to defend them. General Iran placed his hand on the glowing wall. "This is our chance," he said firmly. "With this machine, we will show the galaxy what humans are capable of." The war machine lifted its head toward the sky where the alien fleet waited. Its eyes burned brighter and its steps grew faster. The time of waiting was over. The ancient human war machine was ready for battle. The sky above Earth turned red with fire as the alien fleet drew closer. The Vorn were confident, for no world had ever stopped their power. They had crushed planets, silenced civilizations, and enslaved countless species. To them, Earth was only another name on their long path of conquest. But in the desert, the ancient war machine now stood tall. Its golden eyes glowed against the dark horizon, and its massive frame hummed with living energy. For the humans watching from below, hope returned like a flame in the cold. For the first time, they saw a weapon that could fight back. Inside the machine's glowing chamber, Mira sat at the front with her hands on the floating symbols. She could feel the machine listening to her, as if it were part of her own body. General Aaron stood beside her, steady and calm, guiding the soldiers inside. Ryan worked with the others to study the symbols, searching for ways to control the weapons and shields. The Vorn struck first. Their ships filled the sky, firing beams of burning light toward the desert. The ground shook as the blast fell closer and closer. Soldiers outside scrambled for cover, but all eyes turned to the war machine. Mira took a deep breath and focused. The machine raised its arm and a shield of golden light spread wide across the camp. The alien blasts struck the shield, but the energy bent and broke apart, scattering harmlessly. The humans cheered, shouting with relief. For the first time, they were safe beneath the storm. Then the war machine answered. Its chest opened, revealing a core of blinding power. Mira willed the machine forward, and a beam of golden fire shot into the sky. The nearest Vorn cruiser took the hit and broke apart in an instant. The explosion painted the heavens with sparks. The Vorn fleet paused. They had not expected resistance, let alone strength that could shatter their ships in a single strike. But their pride did not allow them to retreat. Instead, they sent even more fire toward the desert. The ground split as the war machine took another step forward. Each step was like thunder, shaking the earth itself. With both arms raised, it fired again and again, beams of light streaking into the sky. Alien cruisers fell one by one, their black hulls torn apart by ancient human power. From the command post outside, soldiers watched in awe. "It is unstoppable," one whispered. Another shouted, "We can win!" Hope spread across the camp like lightning. Inside, Mira felt the weight of the battle pressing on her. Each blast from the Vorn tested the machine's shield, and she struggled to hold it steady. Sweat ran down her face, but she refused to stop. Aaron placed a hand on her shoulder. "You are not alone," he said. His calm voice gave her strength, and together they guided the machine forward. The Vorn, angered by their losses, changed their attack. Smaller ships broke away from the fleet and dived toward the desert. Their weapons cut through the air, striking the sand with deadly bursts. The war machine moved faster now, lifting one arm to swat a ship from the sky like an insect. The vessel broke apart in flames, falling into the dunes below. Another tried to circle behind, but the machine's eyes glowed, firing twin beams that tore the ship in half. For every ship that fell, more arrived. The sky was filled with fire and smoke. The humans inside the machine felt its strength, but they also felt its limits. It could not fight forever. They had to make every strike count. Mira closed her eyes and let the connection deepen. Suddenly, she saw images flashing in her mind, memories of the machine itself. Ancient battles on distant worlds, human warriors guiding it through fire and chaos, the same enemy falling before its power. She realized this was not only a machine, it was a guardian built with purpose, carrying the will of her ancestors. "We can win," she whispered. "This is what it was made for." The war machine's chest glowed brighter than ever. With one final surge, it unleashed a blast that spread across the sky like a rising sun. The wave of energy struck a cluster of Vorn cruisers, tearing them apart in a chain of explosions. The desert lit up as if a new star had been born. The Vorn faltered. For the first time in their long history of conquest, they tasted fear. Their ships pulled back, retreating into higher orbit. The humans on the ground erupted in cheers. They had survived the first battle, and more importantly, they had won. Inside the machine, Mira leaned back, exhausted but filled with pride. Aaron's eyes shone with determination. "They will come again," he said. "But now they know. Humanity is not weak. We are not prey." The war machine lowered its arms, its golden eyes still burning. It stood like a giant sentinel in the desert, a symbol of strength that no alien fleet could ignore. The first battle was over, but the war had only just begun. The desert was quiet after the first battle. Smoke rose into the sky where alien ships had fallen, and the air still carried the echo of thunder from the great machine's weapons. Soldiers celebrated, but beneath the cheers there was unease. Everyone knew the Vorn were not defeated. They had only pulled back to prepare for something larger. Inside the ancient war machine, Mira sat in silence. Her hands still tingled from the strange connection she had felt during the fight. The machine had shown her visions not only of battle but of memories too old to belong to her. She had seen ancient humans standing where she now stood, guiding the machine through endless wars. It was as if the machine itself carried their voices. General Aran entered the chamber. His heavy boots echoed against the glowing floor. He looked around at the strange symbols that floated in the air, shifting like living script. "You seem troubled," he said. Mira kept her eyes on the glowing wall. "It remembers," she said softly. "This machine remembers battles from thousands of years ago. It was not built for this war alone. It fought before and it fought against the same enemy." Aaron frowned. "The Vorn," she nodded. "Yes, our ancestors built this to fight them long ago. That means humans once had technology far beyond anything we know now." Ryan entered with a data tablet. His voice was quick and excited. "I checked the scans again. The material of this machine is older than any recorded human civilization. Older than the pyramids, older than any ancient ruins. Yet it is perfectly preserved. If humans built this, then everything we thought we knew about history is wrong." Aaron crossed his arms. His eyes hardened with thought. So our ancestors were not simple people with stone tools. They were warriors who fought in the stars. The truth weighed heavy in the chamber. It was a revelation that changed the very idea of humanity. They were not new to the galaxy. They were not children among the stars. They were survivors of a forgotten age. Later that night, Mira stayed inside the machine while the camp outside rested. She studied the glowing symbols more closely. The more she touched them, the more the machine responded. It began to open new panels, showing maps of distant star systems, records of fleets, and images of battles fought in the dark void. She saw the Vorn then, not as they were now, but as they had been thousands of years ago. They had not changed. Their ships were different in shape, but their hunger was the same. They had sought to conquer Earth once before. Humanity had fought them back, and the war machine had been their greatest weapon. But the visions grew darker. Mira saw battle after battle, humans fighting bravely but slowly losing. Worlds burned, fleets fell apart, and finally, the last survivors of that ancient war returned to Earth. They buried the machine deep under the desert, hiding it away, waiting for a time when it would be needed again. The vision ended with a single message carved into the machine's memory. "Protect the children of Earth until they are ready." Mira gasped as the words echoed in her mind. She understood now. The machine had not been abandoned. It had been entrusted to the future, to them. The next morning, she gathered General Aaron and the officers. She told them everything she had seen. At first, they listened in silence, struggling to accept such a heavy truth. Finally, Aaron spoke. "If this is true, then our people are not standing at the beginning of history. We are standing at the return of it. The galaxy may have forgotten us, but now it will remember." Ryan added with a grim voice, "The Vorn will not stop. They have fought us before, and now they see us as unfinished business. They will come with everything they have," Aaron nodded. "Then we must prepare, and this time, we will not fall." Outside, soldiers worked day and night to repair damaged systems and strengthen defenses around the camp. The war machine stood tall in the desert, watching like a guardian. Its golden eyes never dimmed, and its body glowed softly in the night. Mira often returned to its chamber, learning more each day. She discovered that the machine could change form, adapting to different kinds of battle. It could become faster, heavier, or even split its power into smaller units. It was not only a weapon, it was a legacy, crafted with the wisdom of those who came before. But even with this discovery, fear grew in Mira's heart. She knew the Vorn had only tested Earth in the first battle. The real storm was coming. And though the machine was powerful, the enemy had an empire of endless fleets. One evening, as the sun set behind the dunes, Mira stood with General Aaron on a high ridge. They looked at the machine below, its shadow stretching across the sand. Aaron spoke quietly. "Do you think we can win?" Mira answered with steady eyes. "We must. This is what the machine was waiting for. It has guarded this secret for ages, and now it has awakened for us. Our ancestors trusted that one day we would be ready. We cannot fail them." The desert wind carried her words into the silence. The stars above began to shine, and among them, hidden in the dark, the Vorn fleet gathered again. Earth's past had been uncovered. Its secret was no longer buried, and now the truth gave strength to every human who stood ready to fight. The war machine was not just a weapon. It was proof that humanity's story was far older and far stronger than the galaxy believed. The Vorn fleet returned with a fury unlike anything Earth had ever seen. From orbit, hundreds of massive ships descended, each one bristling with weapons. Their goal was clear: to destroy the humans and the ancient war machine that stood against them. In the desert, the machine waited silently, its golden eyes glowing like twin suns. Inside, Mira, General Aaron, and the soldiers prepared for battle. They had learned to guide the machine, to anticipate its movements, and to trust in its power. But even they knew this battle would test everything they had. Outside, the first strikes came. Beams of energy cut through the sky, striking the ground and sending plumes of dust and fire into the air. Soldiers ran for cover, firing their smaller weapons at the alien ships. Jets and missiles attempted to intercept the incoming fleet, but the Vorn's shields held strong. Earth's weapons were only scratching the surface of the enemy. Mira focused inside the machine. Her hands moved over the glowing symbols, sending instructions into its core. The machine responded instantly. Its arms shifted into new positions, panels opening to reveal weapons that had lain dormant for millennia. Energy cannons, long-range blasters, and shields emerged, each powered by the memory and strength of humanity's ancestors. General Aaron shouted orders to the soldiers outside. "Coordinate with the machine. Every strike counts. Protect the perimeter and give it room to move." The war machine lifted off the ground, each step creating tremors in the desert. Its arms fired beams of concentrated energy that tore through the first wave of alien cruisers. One ship after another exploded in silence, their dark hulls falling toward the desert like burning meteors. But the Vorn were relentless. They adapted quickly, sending their smaller fighter ships around the war machine, attempting to strike at its sides and back. Mira guided the machine with precision. She shifted its form, allowing one arm to sweep aside the attackers while the other fired long-range blasts into the fleet. The soldiers on the ground watched in awe. Some cheered, others shouted in fear as the war machine moved like a living giant, unstoppable and unstoppable. Its power seemed endless, yet Mira knew it could not last forever. Every strike it fired consumed energy from deep within its core. She focused harder, pushing the machine to move faster, fight stronger, and adapt quicker. The Vorn commander realized their standard tactics would not work. From the flagship, massive beams of energy rained down, aimed at the machine's legs. If it fell, humanity would lose its greatest weapon. The ground split as the beams struck, and sand and rock flew into the air. Mira felt the impact through the machine's connection. She tightened her control and directed all remaining energy into its shields. A golden barrier expanded, covering the legs and absorbing the alien fire. The beam scattered harmlessly, leaving the machine standing tall and unbroken. General Aaron grinned. "They are learning too slowly," he said. "We have the advantage." Then the machine shifted again. Its body rotated, panels unfolding to reveal new weaponry. Energy whips extended from its arms, striking alien ships and tearing through metal like paper. Its golden eyes glowed brighter, scanning the battlefield for the largest threats. With precise timing, Mira guided the machine to the core of the Vorn fleet. Hundreds of cruisers clustered together, unaware of the strike that was coming. She focused her mind, channeling the machine's power into a single massive blast. The energy beam shot forward, brighter than the sun, splitting the fleet in two. Ships exploded in a chain reaction, debris flying in all directions. The sky above Earth lit up with fire and light. The humans on the ground shouted in triumph. For the first time, the alien fleet hesitated. Their attack slowed, confusion spreading among their ranks. Mira felt exhaustion but pushed forward. The machine moved with speed and precision, striking every ship it could reach. Its energy cannons and long-range blasters fired in perfect coordination. Every move was guided by human intuition and the machine's ancient knowledge. Finally, the Vorn flagship attempted to escape, moving to the far side of the planet. Mira directed the war machine after it. With one final surge, the machine fired a massive energy blast that struck the flagship directly. The ship exploded in a blinding flash, sending a shockwave that shook the sky and the desert below. The remaining ships faltered, retreating in panic. The battle was over. Earth had survived. The war machine stood tall, its body glowing with golden light, dust and sand swirling around its massive frame. General Aaron stepped out from the command tent and looked at the machine. "This is more than a weapon," he said. "It is proof. Proof that humanity can fight back. Proof that we are not weak." Mira smiled, though she was tired. She placed her hand on the glowing surface of the machine. "It fought for us before," she said quietly. "And now it fights with us again." The Vorn fleet had been shattered, and for now Earth was safe. But the humans and the war machine knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy remembered Earth now, and they would not wait quietly for the next attack. As the sun set over the desert, the war machine remained standing, golden eyes glowing steadily. Humanity had awakened its greatest protector, and the story of Earth's ancient power was no longer hidden. The machine was ready for whatever would come next. The sky above Earth was quiet at last. The remnants of the Vorn fleet drifted into space, retreating from the planet they had failed to conquer. Cities slowly emerged from smoke and dust, and humans began to rebuild. But in the desert, the greatest symbol of their victory stood alone: the ancient war machine. Its golden eyes shone steadily, scanning the horizon. It had fought, destroyed, and defended, yet it remained unbroken. Soldiers and scientists gathered around it, looking up in awe at its massive frame. To them it was more than a machine. It was proof of their strength, of humanity's forgotten history, and of the power they could wield together. Inside, Mira and General Aran prepared for the next steps. The machine's chamber glowed with symbols that showed maps of the galaxy, positions of enemy forces, and records of past battles. Mira studied them carefully. She realized that the war machine was not only a weapon but a guide. It could teach humanity to reach beyond Earth, to reclaim its place among the stars. Ryan pointed to a cluster of glowing dots on one of the maps. "These are Vorn bases," he said. "They are regrouping. They will return, but now we know where they are." Aaron nodded. "Then we will be ready. The first battle showed us what we can do. The second will show them who we truly are." Mira smiled as she watched the war machine shift slightly, as if it were alive and understanding the humans' plans. She felt the connection she had built over the past battles growing stronger. The machine had trusted them, and now it would fight alongside them in the wars yet to come. News spread quickly across the planet. Humanity learned that they were not the weak species the galaxy had assumed. They had survived attacks that would have destroyed any other world. And they had done it with courage, intelligence, and a weapon of unimaginable power built by their own ancestors. The people who had once feared the alien invasion now looked to the war machine as a symbol of hope. Children ran through the desert, laughing near the massive feet of the machine, and soldiers trained under its protective shadow. Humanity was awakening to its own potential. One evening, as the sun set in brilliant orange and gold, Mira climbed to the top of the war machine's shoulder. From there, she could see the planet stretching in every direction. Cities rebuilt themselves, farms returned to life, and the people worked together in unity. She felt a sense of pride deeper than she had ever known. General Aaron joined her. "It is more than victory," he said quietly. "It is a reminder of who we are. Humans are not just survivors. We are fighters. We are builders. And now, we are the guardians of this planet." Mira looked at the horizon. "We have something they can never understand. The galaxy has forgotten humans, but the machine remembers. Our ancestors built it for a reason. We are the continuation of that legacy." Aaron smiled. "Then we will not waste it. The Vorn may return, but we will be ready. And next time we will not only defend Earth, we will take the fight to them." The war machine's chest glowed as if in agreement. Its massive arms adjusted, and the hum of its power filled the air. It was alive, aware, and ready. The connection between humans and machine had grown beyond control panels or buttons. It was trust, understanding, and the shared memory of a long-forgotten past. For days, the humans and the machine trained together. Soldiers learned to coordinate with its movements. Scientists studied its energy systems, and Mira explored its core, uncovering more secrets of the ancient human builders. They discovered new abilities, including energy shields that could protect entire cities and weapons capable of traveling into space to strike distant enemies. The Vorn remained in hiding, but they had been warned. Earth was no longer an easy target. Its people had awakened their greatest weapon, and the world was united as never before. One night, Mira sat beneath the stars, looking at the machine towering above her. She thought about the battles fought, the losses endured, and the victories won. Humanity had been tested, and it had risen stronger than ever. The war machine pulsed gently, as if it knew the future held more challenges. But for the first time, humans did not fear them. They would face whatever came not as weak or divided, but as a single force guided by courage, intelligence, and the legacy of those who had come before. General Aaron joined her again. "We are ready," he said simply. "The galaxy will remember us now. Humans will not be underestimated again." Mira nodded. "We have the machine and we have each other. That is more than enough." The desert was calm, but the world had changed forever. Humanity had awakened its ancient power and learned the truth of its past. It was no longer a species hiding behind its technology or waiting for salvation. It was a force to be reckoned with, and high above, the war machine stood as both protector and symbol. Its golden eyes shone into the night, reminding all who saw them that humans were strong, clever, and unstoppable. The machine had awakened, and with it humanity had returned. Earth was ready to rise again, not just to defend itself, but to take its place among the stars. The story of humanity's ancient power had begun a new chapter, and the galaxy would never forget it.